So selling a property in Spain can obviously be a very profitable enterprise, especially if you've got a really healthy profit in the property. But even after 18 years of selling property here, I'm surprised at how many vendors aren't aware that there is capital gains tax to pay on the profit of the sale of your property. And unless you're exempt from paying this tax, it could be quite a considerable tax that you've got to pay. So this week's episode of 2 Minute Tuesday is all about capital gains tax, profit tax on the sale of your property. So welcome to episode 187 of 2 Minute Tuesday, I can't remember, where we talk all about the profit tax when selling a property here in Spain. So when you sell a property here and make a profit on it, you are liable to capital gains tax. And the capital gains tax is, there are requirements. So if you are, this is your main home, you live in Spain, you declare your taxes here, it's your main residence, you've been here for more than 3 years, you're retired, pensioner, then there are lots of ways of not paying capital gains tax. However, let's say, for example, it's a holiday home and it's not your main home and you're selling it, so you've made a profit, then you could be liable or subject to capital gains tax. So the first question is, how is this tax calculated? So when you bought the property and you went to the notary and you signed the papers at the notary, the price that you paid was registered. So you will have a copy of a document called your escritura, which is the deeds for the property. And in the escritura, it will tell you the price that you actually paid when you purchased the property. So this is the declared price. So this is the figure that the taxman will base his figures on. So if you paid 200,000 euros for the property, then your escritura will say you paid 200,000 euros. And then the second figure that they base it on is obviously the price that you declare when you sell the property. So if you sell the property for 300,000 euros and you purchased it for 200,000 euros, then the profit will be seen as being 100,000 euros. So the documents that they take it from are the escritura, the deeds when you purchase the property, and then the price that you declared on the escritura when you sell the property. And that's where the difference is, and that's how they calculate the profit or no profit. So as with many taxes, there are certain things that you can offset against the tax. So any sort of professional fees that you may have incurred in the purchase of the property in the first place. So your lawyer fees, any maybe agent fees, any tax fees or taxes that you paid. So any sort of professional costs, as long as you've got the receipt from the professional person, you can then use those to offset those against. So, lawyers, perhaps agents, architects, things like that. Also, if you've done lots of changes to the property, so you've added a swimming pool, that's increased the value, you've built a garage or a major construction, increased the size of the property, then you can submit invoices and your accountant, your gestor, your lawyer will go through those and tell you which one of those you can use to offset. Now, there's a huge temptation to pay Bobby the Builder around the corner in cash for doing some work. The problem with that is that you might be saving a little bit of money by paying him, but you can't then use the work that he's done to offset it against the tax, because they will not provide you with a tax invoice, and it's the tax invoice that you need in order to submit it to offset against the taxes. So take that, bear that in mind when you're doing any work on a property. So there are also different calculations for the tax rate depending on your status. So if you are a resident of Spain, i.e. you declare your taxes here, then the tax rate will range on the profit, this is, between 19 and 23%. And it's graduating depending on the more profit you make, the more tax you pay. If you're a non-resident, so for example you're selling a property, holiday home, something like that, then the tax is calculated at 19%. And again, the exemptions when it comes to offsetting things against or not being liable to do it. So we have the primary residence exemption. So sellers who it's your main home, and if you reinvest the proceeds from selling the property of your main residence into another primary residence, then the taxman will defer the tax. So it's not that you don't pay it, but they'll defer it until you have another property, unless you meet certain criteria, i.e. you're retired, over the age of 65, it's your main residence, you've declared your taxes here for 3 years. Again, all the figures that I give you, these are all subject to change, and this is only for information. So it's always worth checking with your lawyer or your HESTOR to get the latest up-to-date information. This is just a vehicle to inform you that when you come to sell a property, you need to ask the right questions of the right people, so that you know exactly what you're going to be left with when you sell the property. And the final thing is really how to pay. So normally you'll do this through your lawyer or your HESTOR, and you have it's 3 months from the date that you sell the property to pay the tax. A lot of people will just pay the tax at the notary when they do it. They'll ask the lawyer to pay the tax directly for them. And as with all taxes, if you don't pay them, it will cost you a lot more in the long run. So that's it for this week's episode of 2 Minute Tuesday. It's a tax one, I'm afraid. They're never enjoyable. They're not enjoyable to make. Well, they're not enjoyable to make, but it's here for information. My details will be on the screen at the moment, so if you've got any questions, queries, please drop me a line. And we'll look forward to seeing you for the next episode of 2 Minute Tuesday, when I promise we won't be talking about tax. Until then, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Adios.